Okay, now I'm going to show you how to make the binding for, or the straps for these masks. And I'm going to assume that you don't have my tools. I'm just going to explain it to you and then show you how to do it. Basically what you're trying to do is, it would be the easiest if you had a piece that was more than 36 inches wide. So that's also called the width of fabric. So when you buy a piece of fabric from the store, it's usually about 42 inches wide, or 42 to 45. And if it's folded, you will have enough. So it'll be easier to cut like this and easier to measure. I'm assuming that you don't have a rotary cutter or a clear ruler, but what you can do is just make sure that you have a piece that is 1.5 inches wide. You can use any kind of ruler to do that. And what you're gonna do, instead of me, you're gonna take your pen like that and cut it. It doesn't have to be, it's not like scientifically straight, but basically you're gonna cut there. Now, because I have the rotary cutter, I'm able to do this quicker, and that makes for a faster video. But basically, it's a lot of fabric to cut through. Okay. Basically, what you want to have is a piece that is longer than 36 inches wide. So what I just did was, this is why this tool is great. I have a dull blade though. Okay. So what I just did was I made myself 2 straps, okay? Now, yours could take longer if you just have scissors, but it's the same process. Now, again, I'm assuming you're not a professional sewing person, so I'm assuming you don't have a bias tape maker, in which case your work is done. But if you don't, and you're just a regular person at home learning how to do this along with us, you're going to fold this in half, and you're gonna get out your iron, and you're gonna iron that, okay? So that's gonna go all the way into the whole length. And then you're gonna open it. Granted, you could do this part first if you wanted to, but basically you're having to fold both sections in. And you're just doing about 1/4 inch. Actually, you probably don't even have to iron the first half if you don't want to. That's sort of a formality if I think about it. So you're just, this is about 1/4 inch. You're basically gonna try to get it so that these edges are tucked in, okay? If you wanted to try to do it all at the same time and go very slowly with that hot iron, go like that and fold it in, you could, but it's a little tricky. So I would recommend that you go at it in 2 swipes. One where you're folding them in, and then the second time where you're folding it over. And then you're gonna have this nice piece, which is pressed, like I'll just use my fingers here. It's pressed, but you can open it and stick the raw edges of your mask in it. You also will be able just to close it up for your, for the very end of the strap. The other thing you can do at the very end is you could tuck it in like this and fold it over, but that can be a little tricky, especially if you're a beginning sewer. So what I would say is do this and then just tie a knot in it like that at the very end. And then you don't have to worry about it. Okay, so that's basic thing. I would do 1.5 inches as a beginner. If you feel like that's still too wide and it makes it tricky to fit all the fabrics in, you could even do it as wide as 2 inches. I know that if you do it as wide as 2 inches, then you end up with, what? If that's 1/4 inch, here you can see how good I am at math. It's 1/2 inch. So right now this is 1 inch, and then you get down to 1/2 inch. If you need it a little bit wider, like maybe 3/4 inch, you could, that'll give you a little bit more room for errors, but it does make for thicker straps. So I think this will probably be a good size for you. Okay, there you go.